You ever get that feeling, like when you're just totally drowning in digital clutter, like you're searching for that one crucial file, or maybe it's like a brilliant idea that you jotted down somewhere, but it's totally lost,
Mm.
in the abyss of all your devices. It's almost like our brains are like playing hide and seek with the information we need the most.
It is kind of interesting though, because, that feeling isn't really entirely unique to like our digital age.
Yeah.
The concept of Smarana, which stems from ancient Sanskrit and means remembrance, is all about actively holding on to what's important.
Hmm.
And, that's become like quite a challenge in our modern world.
That's true.
Yeah.
Smarana, it wasn't just about remembering where you left your keys right.
Right.
It was about holding on to things that truly matter.
Yeah.
Spiritual teachings, life lessons, the things that guide us.
Yeah.
The sources you sent, though, kind of bring Smarana into like the 21st century with the Smarana app.
Yeah.
It's designed to tackle this very modern problem of digital information overload.
And that's where it gets really intriguing. This isn't just another note-taking app.
Right.
The Smarana app is designed to be a secure vault for all your essential information, almost like a digital extension of your memory.
Okay, so it's like a superpowered digital filing cabinet.
Yeah.
But how does it actually help us with this mental tax of forgetting that the sources mention? I mean, we all know how draining it is
Yeah.
to constantly search for lost information.
Think of it this way. Every time you forget a password or misplace a document, it takes a toll.
Yeah.
You waste time, you get frustrated, and it ultimately impacts your productivity and peace of mind.
Right.
The Smarana app wants to alleviate that burden by being the one place where everything important lives safe and sound.
So it's like having a personal assistant for your digital life.
Yeah.
But doesn't that create a different problem?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't relying on an app kind of a crutch? Does it actually make us mentally lazy?
That's a valid concern, and it's something the sources touch upon.
Yeah.
They highlight that the app is most effective when used as a tool to support, not replace our own cognitive abilities.
Right.
It's about creating a system that works with our brains, not against them.
I see what you mean. So it's not about offloading all of our thinking to the app, but about using it strategically to free up mental space for more important things.
Exactly, and the features of the app are designed with that in mind.
Oh,
Think about the secure storage aspect. It's not just about convenience, it's about peace of mind. Imagine knowing that your sensitive data is safe protected by encryption.
right.
No more anxiety about identity theft or losing track of vital documents.
I get that it's about creating a sense of security in a world where data breaches and digital chaos seem to be the norm.
Right, and beyond security, there's the organization factor. You
Uh-huh.
can categorize information, separate personal and professional documents, create project-specific folders. It's about bringing order to the chaos, which allows your mind to focus on what truly matters.
Okay, that's starting to sound a lot like the traditional concept of Smarana, but applied to our digital lives.
Yeah.
It's about being intentional about what we choose to remember and how we organize that information.
That's a great observation, and the sources suggest that this mindful approach to information management isn't just about being more organized. It can actually lead to less stress, better productivity, and a greater sense of peace of mind.
Those are some pretty big claims.
Hmm.
Let's break that down a bit. How does simply organizing our digital information lead to less stress? I mean, is it really that simple?
It's not just about the act of organizing, but the sense of control it gives you.
Okay.
Imagine this, you're on a tight deadline and need to find a specific contract instead of frantically digging through emails and downloads. You open your Smarana app, go to the contracts category, and there it is.
Okay, I can see how that would be a relief, especially in a high-pressure situation. But does that really translate to less stress overall?
It's about those small wins adding up over time. It's the peace of mind knowing that your information is safe, organized, and accessible. You're not constantly worrying about losing something vital or wasting time searching for it.
So it's not just about the app itself, but about shifting your mindset towards information management. It's about cultivating that sense of Smarana, that intentionality and clarity, even in the digital realm.
You've hit the nail on the head, and that's where things get really interesting.
So we've talked about how the Smarana app helps us organize our digital lives, but the sources also dive into the deeper benefits of adopting a Smarana mindset.
Right.
They claim it can lead to less stress, increased productivity, and even greater peace of mind. Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
Absolutely. It all ties back to that feeling of control we were just discussing.
Okay.
When you're not constantly battling information overload,
Right.
you free up cognitive resources for other things.
So it's not just about remembering where you put your passport,
Right.
but about having the mental space to focus on what truly matters.
Exactly. And that brings us to the second benefit. enhanced productivity.
Okay.
The sources argue that when you're not constantly distracted by misplaced information, you're able to work more efficiently and creatively.
That makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
clearing your mental desktop of all
Yeah.
the clutter so you can actually get things done.
Yeah.
But doesn't everyone have their own system for managing information? Some people swear by color-coded folders. Others have like elaborate spreadsheet systems.
Right.
How is this Smarana app any different?
The difference lies in the philosophy behind it.
Okay.
It's not just about creating a system, but about aligning that system with the principles of Smarana,
Hmm.
intentionality, clarity, and a focus on what truly matters.
So it's not just about throwing everything into a digital junk drawer,
Right.
but about being mindful about what we choose to remember and how we organize that information.
Precisely. And the app's features are designed to support that mindfulness.
Okay.
For example, the ability to categorize information isn't just about convenience, it's about prioritizing.
Right.
You can create categories based on your values, your goals, or the projects that are most important to you.
So it's almost like a physical manifestation of your mental priorities.
Yeah.
The app becomes like a reflection of what you deem important in your digital life.
That's a really insightful way to put it. And as you start to interact with your information in this mindful way,
Yeah.
it begins to impact other areas of your life as well.
Mm.
The sources suggest that this can lead to a greater sense of peace of mind, which goes beyond just the digital realm.
Okay. I'm intrigued, but also a bit skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
How does organizing your files translate to feeling more at peace?
It's about reducing that background anxiety of forgetting or misplacing things.
Okay.
When you have a trusted system for managing information,
Right.
you're not constantly second-guessing yourself or worrying about losing something important.
Mm.
This frees up mental space to be more present in other areas of your life.
I can relate to that. I'm always worried about losing track of travel documents or
Yeah.
forgetting important appointments. It definitely creates a sense of unease.
And the Smarana app aims to alleviate that unease by acting as an extension of your memory, but a reliable one. It's like having a backup system for your brain, which allows you to relax and focus on other things.
That's an interesting way to think about it.
Right.
But don't we risk becoming overly reliant on technology? What happens if the app crashes or we lose our phone?
That's where the concept of Smarana as a mindset comes in.
Okay.
The app is a tool, but the underlying principles are what truly matter. It's about cultivating that awareness of what's important, that ability to prioritize and let go of the rest.
So even if we don't use the app, we can still benefit from adopting a Smarana mindset.
Absolutely. And the sources hint at ways to do this.
Okay.
They emphasize the idea of choosing what matters most.
Right.
In a world of constant information bombardment, we need to be selective about what we allow into our mental space.
That's a great point.
Hmm.
It's so easy to get caught up in the endless scroll of social media or the constant influx of news and updates.
And that's where Smarana can help us.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that we have limited mental capacity and making conscious choices about what we choose to remember, what we prioritize, and what we let go of.
So it's almost like decluttering our minds the same way we declutter our homes.
Yeah.
We get rid of the things that no longer serve us and create space for what truly matters.
That's a great analogy. And just like decluttering our physical spaces can bring a sense of calm and order,
Right.
decluttering our minds can help us to be more focused and present in our daily lives.
Yeah.
The sources suggest that this is where the true power of Smarana lies.
Right.
It's not just about remembering facts and figures, but about cultivating a state of mindfulness, of being fully present and engaged with what's truly important.
That makes a lot of sense. But in a world of constant distractions, how do we even begin to cultivate that kind of focus? I mean, our phones are practically glued to our hands these days.
It's a challenge, but not an insurmountable one.
Okay?
And the sources offer some subtle clues.
Okay.
They repeatedly emphasize the idea of prioritizing what are the things that truly matter to you, your values, your goals, the people you love. By focusing on those things, the rest naturally falls away.
So it's about shifting our attention from the external noise to our internal compass. It's about letting our values guide our choices,
Yeah,
including the information we consume.
exactly. And this is where the app can be a helpful tool.
Okay.
By organizing your information in a way that reflects your values, you're essentially training your mind to prioritize what matters most.
That's an interesting idea. So the app isn't just a repository for information, it's a tool for shaping our mental landscape.
Precisely. And as you start to interact with your information in this mindful way, it begins to impact other areas of your life as well. The sources suggest that this can lead to a greater sense of peace of mind, which goes beyond just the digital realm.
So it sounds like cultivating a Smarana mindset is really about like creating a system that works for you. right? Whether it's using an app or a physical planner or just simply being more mindful about how we interact with information.
Exactly. And there's another piece of the puzzle that the sources touch on that I think is really important.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It's the importance of rest and rejuvenation.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that. How does rest tie into the concept of Smarana?
Well, think about it. When we're constantly bombarded with information and stimulation, our minds get tired. It's like a muscle that needs time to recover to function at its best.
So just like we need to take breaks from physical activity, we also need to give our minds a break from the constant influx of information.
Precisely, the sources don't explicitly state this, but it's implied throughout their arguments. To cultivate the deep focus and clarity that Smarana embodies, we need to create space for stillness and silence in our lives.
That's such a powerful point. And it makes me think about how we often wear busyness as a badge of honor.
Right.
We feel guilty for taking breaks, for disconnecting, for simply being.
And that's the opposite of what Smarana is all about. It's about recognizing the importance of rest, not just for our physical health, but for our mental well-being as well. It's about allowing our minds to wander, to process, to make connections that wouldn't be possible in a state of constant stimulation.
So it's about finding that balance between engagement and disengagement, between taking in information and letting it all go.
Exactly. And when we prioritize rest and rejuvenation, we create the conditions for deeper insights, greater creativity, and a more profound sense of peace.
It sounds like cultivating a Smarana mindset is a journey, not a destination.
That's a great way to put it. It's about constantly refining and evolving our relationship with information, with ourselves, and with the world around us.
Well, this has been such a fascinating deep dive. We've explored this ancient concept of Smarana, its relevance in the digital age, and the ways in which we can cultivate this mindset in our own lives.
It's been a pleasure discussing this with you. It's a topic I'm personally quite passionate about.
I can tell.
Hmm.
But before we wrap up, I'd love to get your personal take on Smarana. What does it mean to you?
To me, Smarana is about living with intention. It's about choosing what I allow into my mental space, being present in the moment, and prioritizing the things that truly matter. It's about cultivating a sense of clarity and peace in a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming.
That's beautifully put, and I think it's a message that we all need to hear in this day and age.
I agree. We're all bombarded with so much information, so many demands on our attention. It's easy to get lost in the noise. Smarana offers a way out.
It's a path towards greater awareness, both of ourselves and of the world around us.
Precisely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'd like to leave our listeners with a final question to ponder. In this world of constant distractions, how can you create space for stillness and cultivate the art of remembrance in your own life?
What a great question to leave our listeners with. It's something we can all benefit from reflecting on.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into Smarana. Hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
It was a pleasure being here.
Until next time, keep diving deep and stay curious.